What's going on, everyone? My name is Miles. Welcome back to the channel. First thing we got to do, you got to make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Also, make sure to leave a like on the video. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So I wanted to talk about the next legend coming for Apex, which is Revenant. Now, it's pretty obvious that Revenant is going to be the next legend, and I know you guys have seen plenty of leaks of Revenant already, but what you guys may have not known is that a lot of the leaks of his abilities have actually changed, and we do know that a lot of the shadow abilities have been taken out just because it probably was just too overpowered for him to have so many different abilities. So if you guys are curious as to which abilities have been taken out since the last update, since the last leak, here are the abilities that they have removed, and then you'll also see a graphic of the abilities that they have kept in. So it seems that they have decided to use these abilities and do away with the other ones that you'll see right here that have been removed. And huge shout out to iLootGames for all these leaks and all these graphics. If you guys are not subscribed to him already, I'll leave a link down below in the description where you can go subscribe to him, so make sure you do that. So I wanted to talk about the abilities that were first leaked and kind of give you guys my combination of what would make Revenant the best legend. Not necessarily the best in the game, but what would be the most balanced and the best for competitive and the best for the health of Apex. Now, I wanted to go over which ones I think would be best for him to have and make him a really good character, but also make him a character that is going to be viable and balanced in Apex. So let's just start off with the first one. So the first one we have is Mark for Death, and Mark for Death along with the next one, Poison Dagger, sounds like something you would hear from League of Legends, so it's really a cool ability. Both of them are really good, and I think it would be really good for the game. So let's just start off with Mark for Death. Mark for Death, like it says, is they fire a poison dagger, press again to reveal the target's location for up to 60 seconds, but if that target heals up to full health, the mark is removed. So this is a really good ability, and it's because it has a passive integrated into a regular ability. So you get that poison dagger that you're allowed to shoot, but then also get that passive of revealing someone's position with the poison dagger for up to 60 seconds if you press that button again. So it's kind of like a passive integrated into that, which I think is really good, and I think it's going to be really cool. I'm not really sure if the opponent will know that they're being marked, and I also don't know how much damage the poison dagger does, so I'm not entirely sure if it's the best, but I do think it is a really good idea. And if they make the damage numbers for the poison dagger really balanced and really good, it could definitely be an important tactical ability to have in Apex Legends. So I do upvote this one. And the second one is obviously the poison dagger that was mentioned in the Mark for Death at the beginning. They just work hand in hand. They're not actually two different tactical abilities or anything like that. You use the poison dagger first and then press the poison dagger again to do the Mark for Death. So that's how they're kind of integrated together. And now moving on to the next ability, we have Death Stalker. Now Death Stalker is something you're probably familiar with. It's exactly what we saw in the Shadowfall game mode for Apex Legends just a few weeks ago. You can crouch walk faster, you can climb walls higher. The only difference is that in the Shadowfall you are able to run faster as well as crouch walk faster. So this one is only crouch walking faster and climbing walls higher. But my problem with this is I feel like it doesn't really fit into Apex, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you guys disagree with that. I think it would be really good, and I think it would help, you know, someone get a crazy angle on someone and maybe get that flank that's really good, but I don't really feel like it fits the game of Apex. I don't feel like that's what Apex is. I feel like it takes out that incentive to make good decisions to begin with and not put yourself in a bad situation. And maybe I'm wrong once again, but I just feel like there's going to be so many times when I'm fighting someone and I get them really weak when they made a bad decision to be where they were, and they're going to be able to climb over a high building and get away and heal while a third party comes and kills me, and I'm not going to be able to get credit for that person's mistake all because of that ability rather than that person's skill. And that's just something that would bother me, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, maybe it is something really good for the game. We'll just have to see. I think they did a really good job by testing all these abilities in Shadowfall first to see how the community would respond to them, so we'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do. But for now, I'm going to leave a thumbs down on this one just because personal preference, I don't really like it. Now the next two are obviously the shadow abilities that we were talking about before, but sadly, as cool as some of these shadow abilities sound, we probably won't be seeing these next two because they have recently taken the shadow abilities out of the game files, and it doesn't look like that they plan to use them. But we do know from the game files that he can still enter into the shadow mode, so you never know, they may be preparing us for a surprise. This is something we haven't seen yet, which is the shadow walk and the shadow door. The shadow walk moves silently and faster for 6 seconds, and the cooldown resets on every kill, and then the shadow door creates a door through walls which lasts for 5 seconds. Now if you guys can feel what I'm feeling, that's crazy. That's just so overpowered in my opinion, and that's why I think that they decided to do away with a lot of these shadow abilities. I think they just decided that some of them were overpowered. I do like the idea. I hope that they don't completely disregard this and just take all of these out to begin with. I do hope hope that they maybe think about implementing them into a different character, because I do think a Shadow Door would be a really good ability and a really good escape rather than your typical Wraith. It would be something different and something else to watch out for. The Shadow Walk, I think, is a really good ability that they should maybe keep, the moving silently and faster for 6 seconds. That's something I really like, so I do upvote that one. The Shadow Door, however, I just think it is a little overpowered for the state of the game right now. So the next one we have is ABL Shadow Step, and Shadow Step sends out a Shadow Revenant, and you press again to teleport to the shadow. So the cooldown resets on kill as well. So this is kind of like LeBlanc from League of Legends. If you guys are not familiar with her, you can send out that shadow ability, that Shadow Revenant, and then teleport to that shadow if you want. Now, I'm a little curious to wonder if you can teleport to the shadow and then maybe have a few seconds to teleport back to your original position like LeBlanc in League of Legends, or if it's only a one-time use to teleport to the shadow. That is something that could be really high risk, high reward to use that teleportation, because you might get caught up in a situation where you have no escape. So once again, if you think about all these shadow abilities with the Revenant's regular abilities, you can see why this is way too overpowered and why they cut back on some of these. But I do think the teleport would be a really good addition to the game, and I really do like the idea a lot. And now that I think about it, I think the Shadow Door may be pretty good if you balance that out with some weaker abilities to begin with. So I am keeping that one on my radar and just kind of see what they decide to do with the majority of his abilities. Now, moving on to the last one, we have Death Totem. Now, Death Totem allows you to drop that totem that protects anyone who uses it from death. Instead of getting killed or downed, you will return to the totem with 20 health. Now, I'm a little confused as to how this works, but the idea that I'm having is that if one of your teammates is dead, one of your teammates has already been eliminated and finished off, then you can use that totem on your teammate who is still alive, and if they get downed or killed, instead of getting downed or killed, they will return to that totem with 20 health. Now, that's a cool idea. I like the thought process of all of this. The only problem I have with this one is I don't like the idea of being rewarded for your mistakes. And if someone makes a bad mistake, and if someone, you know, messes up, I don't like that they can just relive again and get another chance. I think the idea of bringing people back through banner cards requires a lot of skill, so that's why I like the, you know, respawn beacon, but I don't like this Death Totem. I don't think this would be really good for the game. You're gonna have a lot of noobs being able to use this and live longer that aren't good enough and don't deserve to live longer. That was really harsh. Wow, I just realized how bad that sounded. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the update on Revenant's abilities. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below, what you think the best abilities would be for Revenant. In my opinion, my final decision of what I think would be the most balanced and the best for Apex is probably the Mark for Death, the Poison Dagger, the Shadow Walk, and maybe even the Shadow Door. But I wouldn't go any further than that. I think all the rest, or even adding another one, is just a little too much. I think the Shadow Door is going to be super powerful, but the Poison Dagger and the Mark for Death are a little, you know, they go hand in hand and they're not super game breaking. So that would be my 3 of the best abilities that they could do for Revenant. So you guys definitely let me know what you think below. Also, make sure to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed. Also, subscribe to the channel and put on that notification bell if you guys want to see more Apex Legends daily videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a great night. Peace.
And I think I got one. Yeah, and I think I